First lady point of view. First lady point of view. You tuned in. It's the first lady point of view. First lady point of view. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the first lady point of view. You tuned in. First lady point of view. It's the first lady point of view. Tapped in, yeah, we always on time. First lady Felicia K on the line. You tuned in. First lady point of view.
It's the first lady point of view.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we got a special guest in the building. If you're from Sacramento, you know him as a legend, as OG Badmouth. Now, if you're new to what he got going on right now, you might know him as Vercree Fields. So I want you all to help me welcome to the show for the very first time, none other than Vercree Fields. How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right, good to have you on the show. When we first dialogue, first off, let's double back. Tell everybody where you're from originally.
I'm originally from Stockton.
Okay.
I just say that because that's where I was born.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm born and raised right here in Sacramento.
Okay.
Grew up in a neighborhood called Old Park. Been here since I was 9 months old. So,
yeah,
but, you
I
just got to give you my roots of where I was born.
Yeah.
Though,
I appreciate it. That's what I want people to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things because you are a man of many hats. Like I said, a lot of people know you mostly. We're going to dive into the music first.
Okay.
You originally started in music as OG Badmouth. How old were you when you originally started?
It was actually, excuse me, Badmouth C.
Okay, that was first.
That was first.
Okay.
Yes. And I started rapping around 84, 85. And, you know, that's how it all began. I was actually in the county jail on my way to prison, and I was 19 years old, and we just started dangling with the pen, and that's where it all started.
It was born then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your most memorable song, the song that you feel like got you the most notoriety in your career? Or it could be, you kind on the fence. Maybe you got 2 or 3 you feel like did that.
It was Let the Park Hit 'Em.
Okay.
And a song called Get Your Drinking On.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the neighborhood hits.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, well, Bud TKO was another one of my catalog hits. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, what is your most memorable moment from your artistry? Your experience being out there, what's your most memorable?
Well, it's a lot to choose from, but if I want to pick one, I would go, I think it was like 91, 92. I was with Black Market Records, and we did a show with Second to None and DJ Quick.
Okay.
With New Kids on the Block with Mark Wahlberg and all them at Cal
That's
Expo.
major.
Yeah, it was pretty big because we was in front of about maybe 5,000-6,000 people in front of Cal Expo, so you could really feel the energy. So that was the first taste of my just really this is
Takeoff season. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that feeling. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I want to, I'm gonna ask. I'll ask. What was if any, what was the thing that you regretted most about being into music? Like, cause some people say it was just so time consuming. Some people say they got into a bad deal. What was I don't want to say worse. What was the experience that you feel like I wish that didn't happen throughout the artistry?
Well, to be honest, we didn't really have that many resources. Okay. Like they did in the Bay, in LA. But we did have, like J. King he tried to produce me. Also, rest in peace, Robert Brookins tried to produce me. But I was one of those individuals that was kind of like, I was a risky investment, so to speak, because I was living my lyrics, and they didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to a show, things I didn't know back then that I know now. You know what I mean? So I was always in and out of jail, so it was kind of risky for them to put their money, for me. So I was like, that was one of the biggest regrets because I feel like I would have made it if I'd have pursued it, but I kind of like pulled back and just started venturing into other things. So,
Yes.
you know.
Thank you for that, Jewelry, because that a lot of people don't want to say that, right? You said that they considered you a risky investment.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's really a thing. And sometimes they won't tell you that to your face, but that might be what they're saying in the office, right? In the boardroom, in the meeting. But the fact that you realize that was your mistake. You're like, I was a risky investment.
Right.
And I want to thank you for putting that out there, because some of these young artists need to hear that, and it'll probably click in their head. What did OG mean when he said that? I'm a risky investment. They didn't know if I was going to make it to the show, if I was going to end up in jail, if I was going to end up dead.
Right.
It was a risky investment.
Right.
You fast forward to nowadays, though, the way the game is rigged, it's kind of like that's almost like in the stimulus packet that they give out now is the risky investment.
Okay.
Low key get the reward, because in the end, the label gonna eat off of that risky investment because its numbers is gonna go up. Whereas back in our day, if that wasn't the case, people didn't want to put the money in behind that. So so many layers to that.
It had two sides to it too, because
Yeah.
you could also look at it like this too. The type of individual I wasn't going for the banana in the tailpipe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So as I look back and see how the industry is now, it's a lot of sacrifices,
Ooh.
it's a lot of backdooring, and the type of person I was back then, it'd have been crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just put in, for lack of a better word, I wasn't going for anything that I felt wasn't unfair, that was more or less like you know, I was gonna always keep it real to my art form, but I was always also keep it real to who I am.
Yeah.
So if you said something or if the contract didn't read right, I was gonna see you about that, and they knew that. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's get into. You just opened up the door for us to get into one of the main topics I wanted to have you on, but I wanted everybody to get a little bit of backstory about you as an artist back in your day, just so they'll know that you qualify to speak on what we're finna get into. Mm-hmm. All right, you just said you did things your way, you knew what type of artist you was, and that goes into the topic of, we was gonna talk a little bit about the backlash Kendrick Lamar was getting from the recent Super Bowl. Tell us a little bit about your position on that. You said originally you was gonna keep it to yourself, but I said, well, let's come on the show, talk about that.
Well, I sent a lot of comments about how the show was trash, and you know, we thought he was going to do this, that, and the other, and they made it look like he was doing a versus or something. You know what I mean? You know, he was on the biggest stage in the world, and everything that he did was intentional. Mm-hmm. And see, if you're not really coming from that background of being an artist, a hip hop artist, not a rapper, a hip hop artist, and understand the dynamics of what's put in that type of art form, you wouldn't understand it. So I didn't want to go back and forth with people's opinions about it, because then Kendrick would have been out the way. It'd just been me and the person I'm arguing with.
Yeah,
and I don't like arguing with an invisible argument. Audience,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people saying things, but they really in
Yeah.
the background saying it, but they don't say it too. You know what I mean? So when I seen that, I kind of just like, I usually don't even jump in, and I wasn't going to even post that part of it.
Yeah.
But I felt like, it's
disheartening watching it.
From the choreography to every bit of, from the beginning to the end.
Breath control, cadence.
Exactly.
What?
And for it to be, we didn't even have hip hop artists on the platform of a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So why would you even speak negative about any of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't your type of music.
Right.
Just enjoy the moment for what it was, and that's how I really felt about it.
Yeah, it is, and some people are saying, well, he should have played his hits, and I thought,
versus.
some of y'all saying that, and then I seen people doing like, I guess Drake was recently in Australia, and they was doing a side by side. Look at Drake's crowd, and I said, oh yeah, like the Pop Out, which was a Kendrick concert.
Exactly.
It's two different things.
Exactly.
People paying to come and see you.
Exactly.
That's your fans.
Exactly.
It's gonna be just like the Pop Out and what just happened with Drake in Australia. But at the Super Bowl, that is what I call an organized crowd. of conservatives for the most part. So the halftime show is for what he did, meaning he broke records in television. Halftime show is for the people at home that can't go to the show.
And so
that's what that is.
And to add to what you were saying, it's like most of those people don't even know who Kendrick Lamar was.
Exactly, but they know now.
They just know who that one particular song was.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he teased you with it and played with it. He said, I'm going to play their favorite song because, you know, that's what they know him for.
He didn't even want to do it.
Yeah, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, his favorite hits to us wouldn't have been the favorite hits to that genre of what he was trying to produce. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things he could have, you know, a lot of songs that he could have did, but we see that in his concert if you want to see it that
you
back.
know, someone made a good point about, they said that, but what he did was true to Kendrick. Have we ever known him to do what you want him to do? No, right? And that's why he's probably the most decorated hip hop artist there is out, because he not gonna do that, right? And then they said that his Instagram followers went up 1 million. He got, even though he was already multi-million, right? But he got 1 million new followers in 24 hours, and then he broke the record for the most watched television.
Broke Michael Jackson's record.
Not even Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They said that halftime show was the most watched television in the history of television. What?
Yeah.
Come on. And y'all worried about, he should have played his. Well, buy tickets. He on tour right now. He on tour.
So watch this, though. Even when he did the halftime show with Dre and Snoop, you see his performance then.
Yeah, it was stellar.
It wasn't a number one hit.
Yeah.
You see he performed a little bit different then.
Yeah.
So
that was what they
Kendrick.
wanted. They wanted what they got from the Dr. Dre set, but that was Dr. Dre said. I saw when Snoop was on Drink Champs, they was asking him, why you didn't perform Gin and Juice? He said, you guys, it wasn't our halftime. Dr. Dre, it was an honor for him to invite us as a guest. And what he did was selected the songs that he wanted by us performed that he produced. Right. He said none of us picked the song. He said, but that's what you do when you're a team. You go, you do the song that the man actually do. He said, and it came out stellar. Exactly. So, you know, people need to take that into consideration too. I just wish they would, you can't force stuff on people. Yeah, that's why I appreciate it. Yeah, I really did appreciate when you said what you said. And that's why I said, you know, if you're down, I know it's last minute, I would love to have you to come on and talk about that, because, you know, you got, it's almost like robots, I guess you could say. You got all the podcasts and stuff, everybody coming with the same point of view, the same take. And the realness of what you were saying, it just resonated with me, and I felt like we need to, you know, I don't know, I guess we're hip hop historians, so we look at things different. We've been in it since it was a thing. Right. And we've seen all what I call all seasons of hip hop, right?
Exactly.
And, it's just a different beast. And it's unfortunate, but if it's any solace to him, I hope he takes away from it. But he's a real humble kid, but I hope he takes away from it is people, like legendary people, appreciate what he's doing. So you can't really get too caught up in that aspect of it. If you was him, though, if you was, I don't even want to say him, if you was in his close proximity, what would you tell him after this experience? What would you tell him to do? What would you say to him?
As far as after the fact?
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing.
Don't change it.
I mean, absolutely nothing, because you have to understand his metaphors is inside of a metaphor. So he's not even worried about the people that don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like it's above your head. So okay, if it's over your head, then you know you ain't even got to duck for that. So you know what I mean. So he wasn't even trying to reach you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the sad part about it is it was his peers that was trying to knock him. And that's what I didn't.
But you know what? I said that it was like the game was already rigged, and that was interesting. I have been saying that for months since he announced he had the Super Bowl, and then he opened with this teaser of a new song, and he said that it's already rigged. But you know, this is what I took away from the thing with the peers. From the moment I stopped looking at a lot of them the same. By the way they reacted when he got announced as the Super Bowl headliner.
Right.
The pouting, that pick me attitude, that pick me mentality, that was disturbing to me.
Right.
Because when it's your turn, right, you don't want people to do you like you're doing him, and then when people see you act like that, you might not get a turn.
Yeah, they think you're entitled because of the platform of where the event is at. You know what I mean? Just because it was in New Orleans, you know what I mean? They feel it has to be, you know, a artist from New Orleans, but it doesn't. It's not even this. It wasn't on Kendrick to pick himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so I don't get all of that. Like that's just weird, and I don't know. I just feel like it's sad. And then like a lot of people who we know that they're OGs because of their age, but you know, one of my uncles, he always say, but you don't always get qualified as an OG just because you live to see certain numbers, right? You know what? We gotta get ready for a break. We're gonna get into that, and we're gonna also get into what you got going on now, okay? But we'll pick up right where we left off here before we get into what you got going on now. All right, you guys. So make sure you guys come right back. We're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back with none other than Vercree, and you might know him as OG Badmouth. We'll be back right after this short break.
First lady point of view. You tuned in.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. And if you're just now tuning in, we've been talking to none other than Vercree, aka OG Badmouth. That's what most of us know him by originally. We've been talking a little bit about Kendrick Lamar's groundbreaking historical Super Bowl halftime show. And before we went into the break, you were talking a little bit about being disappointed in other hip-hop artists or rappers, if you will. I don't want to say peers, because at this point, like, are you guys really his peers? I don't even know if I would call it that, right? But we were talking about disappointment and how they reacted to him getting that halftime show. What do you think that stems from? Do you think that's the, like you said, you said you feel like it's entitlement because of home court, or do you feel like they feel entitled because some of them been around longer, so automatically it should be us? Because I thought that at first about the home court advantage,
right.
But then the Super Bowl has been in New Orleans 4 times already.
Right, but this is just like the third year that we was able to put hip hop on that type of platform.
And he is the first hip hop solo artist to
exactly.
do it too. Yeah.
So, I mean, we wouldn't have been mad if they would have picked a New Orleans artist, you know what I mean? It wasn't like you had to compare it, but when they went with him, we just went with him, you know what I mean? So it's like, but see what kind of threw everything off is when they did it in LA and they had LA artists. But
people assumed it was gonna be, when they come here, okay, I get where you go with that.
But they didn't even factor in the fact that it was Eminem there, 50 Cent there.
Mary J. Blige there.
Exactly.
Only person there was Dr. Dre. That was from L.A. and Snoop.
And
Kendrick. Yeah.
So
well,
I
mean,
you know what I mean? But that was part of the Aftermath family. Though.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't nothing else but that. So, you know, I think next year they're gonna kind of like.
We done for it. Now they might bring it back. But I already know where you're going with it, OG. We done for it with that. They're gonna take a chill on that. I mean, I would, if from the executive standpoint, if it was me, I would say, you know what? And first off, for them, it did what it was supposed to do. What other hip hop artist gonna do them type of numbers? He broke television records, so it's a hard. You know what? I wouldn't even want to. You know, they think they want that job, right? Until you up there and you got to do it and you wheezing and that is different. You know, everybody ain't built for the same thing. That yardage, like we can't all do that.
They probably gonna go R&B. You know what I mean? Mix it up a little bit, make it a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. And that's okay because I've enjoyed like many halftime shows. But let's be realistic. People saying, well, no noise was in the crowd. It was no noise in the crowd for nobody but Prince, Madonna, and Michael Jackson. But the selective memory is Dr. Dre and them too. But now that's still about that home court advantage too.
It was some noise in the crowd.
Yeah.
Heard. They yelled at that. But also when SZA came on there, you heard.
But it was a lot of noise in the crowd. I'm just saying what the people were trying to go with. But you know, that's the slanted views, right? It wasn't gonna be like it was a concert. It's not gonna be yelling and all that. Cause look at the people in the audience. I seen a clip where it was two brothers. They was white and their dad. They said they brought their dad, but I noticed the brothers. They knew every word to. They was singing "Not Like Us" and "Squabble Up." Like they was all in the live, and I was all like, okay.
I mean,
they leave that out, you know.
Yeah, but like I said, it's just so biased to the point to where you gonna nitpick anything. Now they went all the way down to the point of what he's wearing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so it's like you kind of just.
I haven't seen somebody post today about
like, what's up, whatever.
Kendrick in his early days thanking Drake. I'm like, and then after that, Drake spent 15 years sunning him, talking negative about him. Kendrick, he'll never do my type of numbers. So you would have to know the history and follow the interviews and what went with that, all leading up to Kendrick coming out of retirement, talking about drop. No, you don't get to dodge this fade. Drop, drop, drop. You know, my grandfather used to always tell us when we was kids, that bully mentality or picking on people, be careful with that. Because when you pick a fight, you don't get to run up in here whining if you lose, right? And that's just a principle with anything, not just when you fighting somebody, whatever it is, be careful because you don't get to take it back if you started, if the outcome ain't what you wanted.
And Drake just jumped in the lane without using his blinker, that's all that was.
Yeah, and you know, I don't like the fact that now people want to just attribute like everything Kendrick has accomplished to that, but that is what the newer kids like him for. We in the TikTok era right now, that's what they know him for, because at one time to them, Drake was all they knew as the face of it. So if you annihilate the dragon, right, then that's what people are gonna know you for, because I know that was one of the main things, was everybody was, is he gonna do the song? Me personally, I didn't want him to. I didn't think he needed to, right? But I'm not the powers to be, the politics. I know why he did it. I know why he did it, and it made sense for what it needed to do. But I also know behind the scenes that there was talks that he didn't want to do it either. He just felt like, he felt like it was gonna like take away, just like he left it off the album, the integrity part. Like I'm so sick of this song. It did what it was supposed to do. The battle's over, but that's what them people booked him for too. So I mean, you got that. It's like splitting hairs, I guess, if you will. But it was great, and I just hope that everybody learned a lesson from this. In the end of the day, you got to be careful with that type of energy, because when it's your turn, you don't want people to act like that when it's your turn to shine.
Exactly.
Yeah, because half of y'all that's whining, y'all was doing rap before him. So it's his fault he superseded y'all?
I mean, I just look at it as like it's art form.
Yeah.
Just really leave it at that. I mean, Drake, I mean, it's gonna be a hard rebound to come from that. But at the same time, if he just stick to what he know, and everybody forget about that particular.
But he's still doing petty stuff. He was picking on Serena yesterday on the internet. It's wild how they.
He gonna keep it going. Other than Kendrick ain't even tripping.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's not tripping. Like I said, he didn't even want to do the song. To my understanding, because I still work with Nerve DJs, and I still do news and reviews and behind the scenes, and we get certain information because we work with those labels every Tuesday. So I know for a fact, I can go on TV on the record and say, I know for a fact he didn't want to do the song. Right. That was something that he kept saying, I'm over it. It did what it was supposed to do, but at the same time, he knew that that's what was wanted. Like he said, they want the song, I'm going to give them the song, but I'm over the song, so it is what it is. I wish him the best with that endeavor, and I thank you for coming on here to talk about that, because I just wanted to dialogue with somebody that knew what was really going on, knew the mathematics behind it all. Now I want to get into we're getting ready to wrap it up pretty soon, but I do want you to tell everybody about what you got going on now as Vercree. That is stands for your company, Very Creative.
Very Creative. What
does Very Creative? What do you all do?
I mean, it speaks for itself. Everything that I touch has got to be some creativity with them. I went from the music part of it to photography, videography, writing books. Now we're trying to do this production company with these small mini films and stuff like that. But that's basically what it is. It's just like, I came up with that name back in, I want to say 2007.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm very creative, so I like, how can I put that together? So it's Vercree and Vercree.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So me and my son was playing with it, because it was really Vercree.
Okay.
And then my son was like, no, make it Vercree. You know what I mean? So because I looked at Vercree and I seen a lot of people use that type of, you know what I mean? So just to make it a trademark, I just went on to put the R on it. You know what I mean? Because it made more sense.
Now, Vercree, one other thing that you said you do, I want to make them aware of that before we get ready to wrap up. You said that you do what, youth mentoring?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
What exactly do you do? I
Well,
don't want to be miswording that.
Well, it all started off with gun reduction, gun violence reduction. You know what I mean? I was handpicked, me being a native from my neighborhood, to kind of like try to show these youngsters in my neighborhood a different trajectory on how to deal with life situations. And, you know what I mean? So I try to teach them like the opposite of what really a gangster is. Okay. So taking care of your family, that's gangster. You know what I mean? When I see your son in the backseat of your car driving down the street, I holler, that's what gangster is.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So I just try to change that narrative, because everybody used to think back in the day you had to pop somebody or you had to do some time in the prison, and that was, no, we don't stand on that no more. Yeah. You know what I mean? We trying to do everything positive to evolve, to make you elevate, you know what I mean? So me coming from that cloth, it's my job. You know what I mean? I was handpicked by God to make that happen. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. So I've been doing this I've been doing it all my life, but I've been getting paid to do it for the last 8 years. Okay. You know what I mean? I work for the Sacramento Urban League. You know what I mean? So I get to see the needle move a little bit different, because now we're putting on youth events. You know what I mean? We're doing toy giveaways, we're doing block parties, this, that, and the other. To where I was just focusing on just going to juvenile hall, you know what I mean, hollering at my youngsters. I still do that.
What do they call that? Ministry, like going out and ministering to them, like
well,
basically
not
from the preacher's point, but like
no.
how they call it when you go talk to them in the juvenile hall. It's like a youth ministry. Or something
but no, it's a little bit more advanced than that, because what I'm doing, I'm really just, that's the only way I can reach them, because they locked up. Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, it's more or less like I'm leading by example. Now I can't be sitting up there trying to tell you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but I'm still in the background trying to, slide something on the side. Yeah. Because they looking, they watching. You know what I mean? So if they see that I'm being more productive, and they seeing that I'm still accumulating things, whether it's materialistic things or whatever, they see that I'm advancing in life, taking trips, doing what I want to do, and I'm not doing nothing illegal to do it. That's more of a motivation that you ain't got to always get it out the mud. Right. You know what I mean? So that's it's like I don't even feel like I go to work. Yeah. This is what I do every day. So it's just gratifying. It's just like, I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, God bless you for that. I love that for you too. Tell everybody, look into this one here, and tell everybody how they could get follow you on all your social platforms.
I mean, you can reach me at Vercree or Vercree at on Facebook, and it's also on Instagram. But I don't really put a lot of things like that on my platform like that. Okay. But when I do, it's there. Okay. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't try to do it for the accolades. I don't try to do it for none of that. It's like I want to be hands on. Okay. You know what I mean? So if they ask me, I give it to them. If they don't, then they just have to catch me when they catch me.
I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you for sure.
Tell your wife I said she got to come in here next time. Don't be no stranger. We from the same. We from the same section. Right. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I enjoyed my guest for taking time out of his busy schedule. He came in here straight off work. I contacted him about coming in, sitting down. That's what you call teamwork, make the dream work. And he instantly said, "I'll see what I could do," and he did just that. And I love him for it. And I wish him and his family nothing but the best. Until next time, you all, I want you to reach back for those that are coming up behind you and pay homage to those who did it before you. It's free. You'll feel good about yourself. I promise you will. Peace, one love. May God bless your hustle. And we are out of here.
You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. First Lady point of view. Culture, music, news, reviews. You tuned in. It's the First Lady point of view. You tuned in. First Lady point of view. It's the First Lady.